I look at this pay-per-view, I think only one thing. It's not that it was good. It wasn't about it being a signature one. It wasn't about essentially the Shield getting back together and Chris and Kevin Owens back together. It just felt like no faith. And I'll explain that at the end of this review. But let's get to the very first thing I want to talk about, which is the last match of the night. I'm not going to wait until near the end. I'm not being like everybody else. This is me, ladies and gentlemen. And this is about Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns. Look, I wish the WWE would just turn Roman heel, because maybe then the crowd would just stop saying Roman sucks. You think, well, maybe they're translating that into a John Cena thing or a Kurt Angle thing. When his theme song came out, they said, "You suck. You suck," because he was so good, he sucked. No. People are still acting as they did before. Roman Reigns sucked because they just don't like him. And I said this before and I'll say it again. Why? What is the point? It's not his fault. And he's not that bad of a talent. Just let it go already. Please. I don't want to keep hearing Roman sucks when it's not something that's good for him. It's just dumb. Was the match good? It's fine. The little bit they had beforehand when it came to Chris Jericho dealing with Seth Rollins, how Kevin Owens got in the way. Now Chris got in his way, DQ'd him and saved his title. And guess what? Chris and Kevin Owens are back together again. There was a standing ovation. Well, to a certain extent. People were happy as hell to see them back together. Fine. I'm alright with that. Then they kind of ruined it because they now got, in a sense, the Shield back together. Mini Shield, as I call them. Was it a bad thing? No, because the crowd really did want to see it. Seeing that Kevin Owens was powerbombed through the announce table up on the ramp, and Chris Jericho was powerbombed on the Spanish announce table, or was it the German announce table? They got so many freaking announce tables. Why? I understand the reason, because they're in those countries. Damn, that's a lot of tables. Just too many tables. Anyway, they're together. We got this. No titles changed hands. That's it. Now, the match I just felt like didn't need to happen, because it was stupid. And that is Braun Strowman versus the Sami Zayn. Sami. Why? That wasn't a win. If people thought that was a great match, that Sami Zayn looked great, think about this for a minute. What did Sami Zayn actually get out of that? What? He didn't beat Braun Strowman. He looked like a bitch. Yeah, he threw the towel into the crowd saying, "I don't want to go out that way," with Mick Foley there. But what did he actually gain? He's not going to go after the IC title because he's not on SmackDown. He's not going on the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. He's not on SmackDown. He's not going after the US Championship because he's not going to face Roman Reigns. It's just not going to happen. And you could say, well, he's going to go after Kevin Owens. But he's already done that. Multiple times. Just a few times have been with that title. But they're not going to put him with him now. Because now if the Shield is together again, mini Shield to a certain extent, not much, but at least they're going to work together for a little bit. It's going to be the bad guys, which is mini Shield, versus the good guys and Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. So where does Sami Zayn get? What does Sami Zayn get? He can't go to the cruiserweights. He's too heavy. He's over the 205-pound limit. So that means he has nothing. It would have been better. It would have been better if he just got traded. Honestly, traded. It would have been better. It actually would have been a better storyline than what we're going to get here, because they're going to keep having matches, which is not going to get Sami Zayn over, and it will help Braun Strowman. I do believe that. But it's not going to help Sami Zayn. It's a joke. And since I just talked about the cruiserweights, it was a free-for-all. Rich Swann, TJ Perkins, and the Brian Kendricks. At one point in the beginning of it, I'm sorry. I do like Rich Swann. He's not bad, but he freaking botched that. He jumped over Brian Kendricks wrong and whacked him in the face with his dick. I don't have an image of that, and I don't want to get an image of it. it was botchy with him. Wasn't that good. I think, I don't know what it was. He seemed a bit botchy. Really, he just seemed botchy. And then TJ Perkins seemed to be a bit botchy too. And the worst thing about it, the pace is so slow. I see what Deluxe Man was talking about. I have seen it for a while. While it's been on Raw, I don't talk about the pretty much X Division light when it comes to the cruiserweights right now. Because they're not doing what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be extremely maneuverable, athletic. This is not athletic. It's just very basic. And it's boring. The only thing that seemed to be good after Rich Swann won was Neville coming out and kicking the ass of, well, he didn't kick Brian Kendricks' ass. He just kicked everybody else's ass. Which I'm fine with. I'm actually glad to see Neville there because it makes sense. Neville has been basically overlooked. And now we see Neville demanding respect. Now, of course, this might not translate very well over the 205 Live, but here on the pay-per-view actually made sense. That this guy, who's almost had no TV time, get angry and want to take out the people who are currently the top 3 of the X Division Light. That's what I'm going to call them from now on, if I don't forget. Let's see here. I'll talk about Seth Rollins and Y2J right now. Look, I could have talked about it earlier, but I'm not going to. It deserves its own moment in time. And let's be honest here. It was a good match. But when it came down to it, it's because of what happened at the end of the night didn't make any sense or need. Because they're going to be tag teaming in a sense. All 4 of these guys are going to be dealing with one another. That's the way it's going to go. There's just no changing that. Now, what is it? What am I forgetting? Oh, yes. The tag team match of New Day versus Red and Baldy. I don't know what to call them. The Redheaded and the Baldy child of the WWE. You could say the redhead stepchild of WWE, but they're not that bad. They're basically the odd couple from Raw then SmackDown. That's basically it. And here's the thing. There is a point. They say that the man must make the title. Not the title must make the man. People who are not that good, the title makes them. And people who are very good, they make the title. At this point in time, when it comes to New Day, they don't need the titles anymore. They just don't. They just need to be seen. Now, here's the question. It's important. Will they be allowed to stay together? Because, of course, Sheamus and Cesaro won, and I'm fine with it. They were ready to take the titles. I'm alright with it. It was time. Admittedly, the WWE always does this with every person who has broken a former title run. They always wait a week after that and they drop it. And I still find that very stupid. You could have waited a couple of more months afterward, then it would be unpredictable. But it's completely predictable and completely stupid doing that. But New Day does not need the titles. They are so over now. To such an extent, they become a cult classic. They have a cult following. They're that popular. Booty-O's is beloved by anybody who can think of it. Who likes the cereal, who likes it. I've said it already myself. I didn't like the gimmick when they first started. I just wanted them to be really badass heels, just like the Beatdown Clan of TNA when it came to MVP. But they won me over. And they won me over even more to the point now that they are iconic. So it's not necessary for the title anymore. They don't need it. Just like I said earlier, will they be allowed to stay together? If they don't stay together, they're going to be destroying. And I'm talking about the WWE and Vince himself because he is an idiot. When he has something that is so good, he breaks it up early. Now, mind you, I know people do break up because they feel like it's time to break up. But at this moment in time, they're doing so well. They have such great chemistry as friends. If you look at up, up, down, down, they are close friends. They care for each other. They could stay like this for another year and then break up. But as it stands now, they should not break up, and they're over and don't need the titles. Of course, they get a rematch, but they don't need the titles right now. They can do other stuff than wrestle. That's what I want to see. Now, before I get finished, I did see the kickoff show when it came to Lana, came to Rusev, came to the wonderful G's of the WWE, Kaz and Enzo Amore. Do I believe they could have been on the show? Yes, I do believe they should have been on the show. They should have been on the show. And Sami Zayn and Braun Strowman should have been on the kickoff show. Because if you're going to sponsor these guys, they should have been on the main show because of how Rusev beat the living hell out of Enzo Amore. And they're doing this angle of Enzo almost getting his ass kicked, and wanting revenge. It would have been better than Sami Zayn and Braun Strowman. They could have been on the kickoff show. It should have stayed there. But in the end, the bad guys, supposedly are the good guys, win. But do I think this is great? I don't know. Because when it comes down to it, when it comes to Lana, when it comes to Rusev, what are they doing? Rusev should be in the main title scene. The only thing he's done is the U.S. title. What a loss. Now, it's time to get this done. Oh, almost forgot. The announcement of the UK getting a show and getting the European Union Championship. Now, this is supposed to happen, when? January 14th and 15th of next year. There's going to be 16 people going for it. And then after that, they'll have a champion, and then they're going to make the show. I don't know what the name is of the show is going to be, but they'll have a name for the show next month. I do believe this will probably be better off than 205 Live. I do believe they should drop 205 Live, put them on SmackDown, and then sponsor this show by itself on a Thursday. Because there's no shows going on. You got Raw on Monday, SmackDown on Tuesday, NXT Wednesday, or is it Thursday? I can't remember. I think it's Wednesday. You could put this new show on a Thursday and make it special. Little snippets from Raw and SmackDown just talking about it, and people going on Thursday and watching it on the network. That's how it should be. And I would be interested in watching it. So you guys tell me below about the tournament, trying to learn about the guys you want me to watch it. Finally, Sasha versus... Look, I've said this already before, and I'm going to say it again. WWE has no faith in Sasha Banks. Because if you look at her track record, when was the last time she managed to win her title or defend her title on a pay-per-view? I'm not talking about if she has a regular match going against anyone. This is just for a title or retaining a title. Because every time that she's won a title, she has lost. Every time she has wanted to try and retain a title, she has lost. I'm clapping now because I'm so frustrated with this. It's not Charlotte's fault. I'm not blaming Charlotte. Maybe she's done some politicking to make sure she keeps her position as winning all the time on a pay-per-view. 15 wins, 2 losses. But you got to think of Sasha Banks, the exact reverse of it. Because no matter how many matches she's done on a pay-per-view, when it comes to a title, she has not been able to win it or retain it. And this match was the best match of the night. I really believe they could have switched Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens with these women, and it would have been better. It would have been better for us to see that. But when it comes down to it, ladies and gentlemen, when you see the end of this match, and you see that Sasha Banks, who killed herself and busted up her nose in the process of doing this match, which was very well done for both women. They had great chain wrestling in the very beginning. Then they got very physical in the middle of the end of it. And they had that overtime, the sudden death, which was well done. In the end, and I know a lot of people are going to say, if no one doesn't say this, I'm saying it. They should not say it could have gone either way. No! Sasha Banks should have won. at least once on a freaking pay-per-view holding a title or retaining it. Well, that's kind of the same, holding a title. You're winning a title or holding a title. This is what it really comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. You're known, and this goes in wrestling terms as far as I understand it. You have to do well in the ring in a dark match, on the regular shows, no matter where. And you got to do good in the pay-per-views. You got to be seen at least winning when it's important. When it comes down to it, Sasha Banks did incredibly well in NXT. She managed to get a title and retain it on their pay-per-views. I mean, not all the time. There's times she's lost, times she won. It's fine. But when she went onto the Raw roster, she has been treated like shit. Now she's been focused on. She's still being treated like shit. She's not given any faith by the WWE. She should have been able to retain her title. One of those times on a pay-per-view in the last couple of months. She should have been able to win a title on one of the pay-per-view in the last few months. She has not been allowed to win on a pay-per-view. She's not been allowed to retain on a pay-per-view. This is a joke. And as far as I can tell, since now this is over between them, what is Sasha going to do? She's going to have to wait until Charlotte loses that title, which it could be to Bayley, one of the other women, maybe Nia Jax. Maybe if Asuka comes up, I hope Asuka really goes to SmackDown, but she probably will go to Raw, and Mickie James will go to SmackDown, because they need a really well-trained professional wrestler on SmackDown, so it will be Mickie James. But when it comes down to it, one of the other women is going to get it, and then Sasha will win again, but then it'll probably be on another Raw. It will not be on a pay-per-view. And what is that going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen? It tells you that either Sasha, because she's mixed with black and German, I believe she's black German, and something else, maybe Dominican. I think she's black German. But essentially, she will not get anything. This is just sad. And I know people are going to say, dude, you're just crying because she lost. So, why are you getting upset? She's done an incredible match. She's done a Hell in a Cell match. She's done a whole bunch of great matches. Be glad. I'm going to say this. I can be glad for someone who does great matches. But when they have a title, they deserve to be spotlighted on a pay-per-view as well as in a dark match, as well as in a regular show of Raw or SmackDown. If they don't get that, what does that tell you? Do you believe they have credibility? Or do you believe they have none? The crowd can love them, but the WWE does not. That's just how I feel about it. But this is just my point of view. You guys tell me below, and I hope you enjoyed this Roadblock 2016, the end of the line. I'm not going to put that in the title because it's too long. Please give me a comment below, and I will be getting, hopefully, I'm sorry about not getting reality wrestling done. I'm going to see if I can do it this week. It really upset me because I was sick and full of pain. It's hard to focus. Have a good day. Have a good night.